I've always had a deep connection with making old things new. Just it's kind of ingrained in me. So my name is Chauncey Webb. I own Renaissance Wood and Timber, and we make and supply timber. So I've always had a deep connection with making old things new. It's kind of ingrained in me. The house my dad built when I was a kid he basically built it out of reclaimed timbers from like old schools. He took down a 3-story old school here in Oklahoma, and then also there was a big roundhouse where like the trains pull in and they turn the train around. And he basically made this really awesome house we lived in with old wood, and I've always kind of been fascinated with wood in general, but just reclaimed wood and old wood, and so I kind of just went into contracting work and loved working with my hands, loved working with wood. Every piece you do is unique, and it's just kind of neat to think about where those trees came from, how long they've been around, and just all that stuff. Here at Renaissance, we're kind of mantle snobs. So we only do solid timber mantles. And the difference is you've got solid timber mantles and you've got box mantles. Box mantles are typically made up of, some boards that have been, nailed and glued together. And a lot of times you see that in a lot of production homes or, houses. It's just kind of the standard thing. The trim carpenters, as they're trimming a house, a new house, will typically take just some of the trim material, create a mantle, hang it on the fireplace, and that's just usually what they just call it good, And we're really big fans of just solid wood, so there's nothing like when you hang a solid timber mantle and you see the growth rings on the ends of it. And you get to see the history, and a lot of times people get a kick out of like counting the rings and seeing how old that tree was, and just the uniqueness of that. And it really warms up the space in a way that just you can't with trim. Usually what you find with new homes, and it's certainly understandable just the way homes are made now, they're on timelines, they're on real strict budgetary schedules and things like that. And so the mantle can sometimes just kind of be forgotten. And then it's not until somebody moves in and they go, wow, there's my living room really doesn't have any pizzazz. It's just four walls and a fireplace and this, piece of trim hanging on the fireplace. And so we get a lot of people that come and have us make solid timber mantles after the fact. But we do have a lot of builders who, work our product into their product as the house. And because we're big believers that there's really not much to sell in a living room. If you kind of look at what, just picture-wise, what builders are really trying to sell when they're selling their houses, there's tons of pictures of the kitchen. Obviously there's lots of stuff to show in the kitchen. Maybe one, maybe two pictures of the living room. And outside of, having a really beautiful, unique piece hanging on your fireplace, there's just not much that's going to show off your living room. And that's why we like mantles so much, is because they're really like art pieces to us. Every one of them is completely unique. Two people could come in and pick the same species of wood and the same textures and all that stuff, and both those mantles would go out and still be totally unique to those people. And that's why we like mantles so much, is that it's really kind of the jewel of the living room. Every one of our mantles are very unique, because each tree is unique, and you can, we have lots of selection. You can come in and pick out a certain species you might be looking for, or a certain look, whether that's a live edge mantle or a squared up mantle, something that looks more rustic, something that looks a little more contemporary and clean lines. Really the options are almost limitless, outside of, just, finding the right combination of, species and wood and stuff like that. Even to the point where, if there's weight constraints, some of our mantles, can be kind of heavy and that's, there's ways to getting around hanging that mantle. If there's weight constraints, we have some species that are extremely light, and that kind of might drive the decision-making process, So it just really depends on the person and what they're looking for, and we kind of walk people through selection process. Our showroom, we have 20 or 30 mantles at a time in the showroom, so you can kind of look and we can talk through the different options. And a lot of times people walk in, fall in love with one in the showroom and just leave right in with one. But if there's something that doesn't quite fit what you're looking for, then we can certainly talk through those options and make it to a custom length or size or dimension that you kind of want to have. Another reason we really love mantles is it's when you're talking about kind of like the value, the cost versus value, proposition. Really, it's amazing what a natural solid timber mantle can do for a living room versus, just having some trim pieces that were put together for the mantle, as far as the selling point of your living room. Because in most homes that we have a mantle, we get feedback from a lot of clients that, they have guests or family or somebody comes over for Christmas or whatever, and they'll walk in and it's just the first thing they say is, wow, like, where did you get this mantle from? It just really stands out as a beautiful, unique art piece in their living room. And like I said before, it's just really the selling point in most cases when it comes to a living room.